Imagine a wilderness where early humans navigated icy terrains, driven by survival and discovery. Over millennia, they transformed these uncharted lands into thriving communities, leaving a legacy of resilience, innovation, and cultural brilliance. From the first footprints on ancient mudflats to the cliff dwellings of Mesa Verde, the history of the Americas is extraordinary. This journey begins with the Paleo-Indians crossing the Bering Land Bridge and leads to the flourishing of societies, like the ancestral Puebloans. How did they turn the Southwest's harsh landscapes into a cradle of civilization? What secrets lie in their ruins and traditions? Join us to uncover the Pueblo people's story of resilience, adaptation, and timeless connection to the natural world. Modern humans are believed to have inhabited the Americas for at least 16,000 years, though some evidence suggests much earlier arrivals. Monteverde, a site in Chile dated to approximately 18,500 years ago, challenges conventional timeline. Adding to this is the discovery of human footprints in New Mexico, estimated to be 23,000 years old, possibly predating the accepted timeline of migration. These finds, while groundbreaking, remain contentious among scholars due to the lack of extensive corroborative evidence. Nevertheless, they open the door to deeper questions about human migration and the resilience of early populations. The dominant narrative involves migration through the Beringian land bridge, a stretch of land connecting Siberia and Alaska during the Ice Age when sea levels were significantly lower. This corridor, believed to have been ice-free by around 16,000 years ago, served as a gateway for hunter-gatherer groups moving into the Americas. These groups were likely following herds of megafauna such as mammoths and bison, which provided food, tools, and clothing. Over time, they expanded southward, adapting to diverse landscapes and climates. Alternative theories propose coastal routes for migration, where seafaring populations navigated along the Kelp Highway. The Kelp Highway hypothesis suggests that maritime resources enabled sustained travel and settlement along the Pacific coast, bypassing glacial barriers. While intriguing, evidence supporting this theory is scarce, as rising sea levels have submerged potential archaeological sites. However, some mitochondrial DNA evidence and the discovery of tools associated with maritime cultures lend weight to the idea that early peoples may have used a combination of land and sea routes. The significance of these migrations extends beyond mere chronology. Early human settlers brought with them cultural practices, survival skills, and an ability to adapt to a wide variety of environments. These pioneering populations laid the groundwork for the diverse and complex societies that would later emerge across the Americas. The harsh conditions of their journey and subsequent settlements demonstrate an extraordinary capacity for resilience and innovation. Genetics also provides clues to the origins of these early Americans. Studies of haplogroups, genetic markers passed down through generations, indicate that Paleo-Indians were closely related to populations in Central Asia. Haplotype Q, found in over 90% of modern Native Americans, links these early inhabitants to Siberian ancestors from approximately 26,000 years ago. Unique mutations in these haplogroups suggest a prolonged pause in migration, likely in Beringia, during a harsh Ice Age period. This genetic bottleneck shaped the distinct characteristics of Paleo-Indian populations. Moreover, these genetic markers offer insights into the social structures and migration patterns of early communities. The presence of multiple haplogroups indicates that these populations were not monolithic, but comprised diverse lineages. This genetic diversity underscores the interconnectedness of early human populations, and their ability to adapt to new environments. These genetic and archaeological findings together paint a picture of a dynamic and evolving population that navigated immense challenges to establish a foothold in the Americas. The Paleo-Indians represent the first known inhabitants of the Americas. Renowned for their ingenuity and adaptability, they thrived in environments ranging from icy tundras to dense forests. Their tools, especially Clovis points, showcase advanced craftsmanship. These spear tips, designed for hunting large game, reflect the resourcefulness of early humans in exploiting available materials. The Clovis culture, named after a site in New Mexico where the first artifacts were discovered, serves as a hallmark of Paleo-Indian technology. These finely crafted stone tools were used to hunt megafauna such as mammoths and mastodon. The efficiency of Clovis technology allowed small, mobile bands of hunter-gatherers to sustain themselves in challenging environments. However, as the Ice Age waned, these populations faced new challenges that necessitated innovation and adaptation. The extinction of megafauna forced Paleo-Indians to diversify their subsistence strategies. They began hunting smaller game and incorporating a broader range of plant resources into their diet. This transition marked the beginning of the archaic period, characterized by significant cultural and technological evolution. The development of new tools, such as grinding stones for processing seeds and grains, signaled the advent of rudimentary agriculture. These innovations allowed populations to settle more permanently, shifting from nomadic lifestyles to semi-sedentary communities. The archaic peoples introduced groundbreaking innovations. The atlatl, or spear thrower, revolutionized hunting, allowing for greater accuracy and power. Grinding stones emerged as essential tools for processing seeds and grains, signaling the advent of rudimentary agriculture. Settlements became more permanent, reflecting a shift from nomadic lifestyles to semi-sedentary communities. This period also saw the development of regional cultures, each adapting uniquely to their environments. In the American Southwest, the Oshara tradition exemplifies this transition. Archaeological sites such as Arroyo Cuervo in New Mexico reveal a continuum of human occupation spanning thousands of years. Artifacts from this era include tools, ceremonial objects, and evidence of early maize cultivation. These discoveries highlight the gradual shift from foraging to farming, laying the foundation for complex societies. This transition from a nomadic existence to a more settled way of life marked a profound transformation in human history. The ability to cultivate and store food provided stability and allowed for the development of more complex social structure. Regional variations in culture and technology reflect the diverse environments in which archaic peoples live, from the dense forests of the East to the arid deserts of the Southwest. These communities adapted to their surroundings, developing unique ways of life that would shape the trajectory of human history in the Americas. The ancestral puebloans, often referred to as the Anasazi, emerged as a distinct cultural group in the American Southwest. Their origins trace back to hunter-gatherer communities that settled in the Four Corners region, where Arizona, Utah, Colorado, and New Mexico meet. By 500 CE, they had developed sophisticated agricultural practices, cultivating staple crops such as maize, beans, and squash. This agricultural foundation enabled population growth and the establishment of permanent settlements. Early dwellings were pit houses, semi-subterranean structures that provided insulation against the harsh desert climate. These homes, constructed with wood and earth, evolved into more complex architectural forms over time. By the Pueblo I period, 750–900 CE, villages began to feature multi-room stone and adobe buildings. These structures, known as pueblos, often included kivas, circular, sunken spaces used for ceremonies and communal gathering. The ancestral puebloans demonstrated remarkable engineering skills. They developed irrigation systems to support agriculture in arid environments, channeling water from streams to their fields. This ingenuity not only ensured food security, but also facilitated trade. Networks of exchange extended across the Southwest, bringing goods such as turquoise, shells, and exotic feathers into Puebloan communities. These interactions fostered cultural exchange and economic prosperity. Social organization among the Puebloans was highly cooperative. Villages functioned as tight-knit communities, with shared responsibilities for farming, construction, and defense. Ceremonial practices reinforced communal bonds, emphasizing harmony with nature and the cosmos. These traditions, deeply rooted in Puebloan identity, continue to influence their descendants today. The transition from pit houses to above-ground pueblos marked a significant shift in architectural innovation. These structures, often built from locally sourced materials such as sandstone and adobe, reflect a deep understanding of the environment. The placement of villages near water sources and arable land underscores the Puebloans' ability to adapt to their surroundings. These settlements were not merely practical, but also served as centers of cultural and spiritual life. Trade played a crucial role in the development of Puebloan society. The exchange of goods, such as pottery, tools, and decorative items, fostered connections between distant communities. These networks extended as far as Mesoamerica, bringing new ideas and influences into the region. The integration of these external elements into Puebloan culture reflects their openness to innovation and adaptation. The ancestral Puebloans' achievements in agriculture, architecture, and social organization laid the foundation for the flourishing cultures that would follow. Their legacy is evident in the traditions and practices of modern Pueblo peoples, who continue to draw inspiration from their ancestors' ingenuity and resilience. Chaco Canyon, located in what is now northwestern New Mexico, became the epicenter of ancestral Puebloan culture during the Pueblo II period, 900–150 CE. This arid, high desert landscape, seemingly inhospitable, was transformed into one of the most complex cultural hubs in pre-Columbian North America. The achievements of the Chacoan society in architecture, astronomy, and trade highlight a golden age of innovation and interconnectedness that continues to captivate archaeologists and historians alike. At the heart of Chaco Canyon were monumental structures known as great houses, massive multi-story buildings constructed from sandstone, timber, and adobe. The largest of these, Pueblo Bonito, covered over 3 acres and contained more than 600 rooms. These architectural marvels were constructed with remarkable precision, reflecting advanced engineering techniques and a profound understanding of the environment. Walls were often several feet thick and designed to insulate the interior from the extremes of desert heat and cold. In addition to their practical functions, the great houses served ceremonial, administrative, and residential purposes, acting as the focal points of Chacoan society. One of the most striking aspects of Chacoan architecture is its alignment with astronomical events. Buildings were often oriented to capture the solstices and equinoxes, indicating a deep knowledge of celestial movements. At sites like the Sun Dagger on Fajada Butte, spiral petroglyphs interact with light and shadow to mark seasonal changes. This integration of astronomy and architecture underscores the centrality of cosmology in Chacoan life, linking their daily activities to the rhythms of the universe. Beyond practical purposes, these alignments suggest that Chacoan society held a deeply spiritual connection to the heavens, using celestial events to guide planting cycles, ceremonial dates, and societal organization. Trade and exchange were vital to the prosperity of Chaco Canyon. The canyon's location made it a hub connecting distant regions, and evidence of long-distance trade networks is abundant. Turquoise from Chaco was exchanged for goods such as macaw feathers and cacao from Mesoamerica, seashells from the Pacific coast, and copper bells from Central America. These exchanges not only brought valuable materials but also facilitated the flow of ideas, enriching Chacoan culture and technology. Items found in Chacoan sites reveal an intricate web of trade that extended as far as modern-day Mexico, and possibly even beyond, suggesting that the Puebloans were part of a vast, interconnected, ancient world. The roads radiating from Chaco Canyon, some extending for over 100 miles, exemplify the organizational capacity of its society. These roads, often remarkably straight and up to 30 feet wide, linked the canyon to outlying settlements and resource areas. Archaeologists believe these routes had both practical and ceremonial significance, reinforcing Chaco's role as a unifying center for the surrounding region. The existence of these roads points to a centralized authority or shared cultural motivation, as their construction would have required immense coordination and labor. Agriculture was the foundation of Chacoan society, but the arid environment posed significant challenges. The inhabitants developed innovative water management techniques, including the construction of dams, canals, and reservoirs to capture and store rainwater. These efforts allowed them to sustain crops such as maize, beans, and squash, even during periods of drought. The agricultural surplus supported the population of the canyon and enabled large-scale construction projects and ceremonial gatherings. The surplus also allowed for specialization within Chacoan society, as not all members needed to focus solely on food production, enabling a flourishing of crafts, trade, and spiritual pursuits. Despite its achievements, Chacoan society faced significant challenges. By the late 12th century, prolonged droughts, resource depletion, and social tensions began to undermine its stability. Evidence from tree ring studies indicates that a series of severe droughts likely disrupted agricultural productivity, creating food shortages and exacerbating social stresses. The abandonment of Chaco Canyon marked the end of its golden age, but its cultural legacy persisted, influencing the development of subsequent puebloan societies across the Southwest. The innovations and traditions established during this period laid the groundwork for the resilience and creativity that characterize Puebloan cultures to this day. As Chaco Canyon declined, other centers of ancestral Puebloan culture emerged, with Mesa Verde in southwestern Colorado being among the most notable. This UNESCO World Heritage Site is renowned for its cliff dwellings, intricate structures built into natural alcoves in the cliffs. These dwellings, constructed between the late 12th and early 13th centuries, reflect the adaptability and ingenuity of the Puebloans as they faced environmental and social challenges. The cliff dwellings of Mesa Verde, such as the iconic Cliff Palace, demonstrate a sophisticated understanding of architecture and resource management. Cliff Palace, the largest of these sites, contains over 150 rooms and 23 covas, and likely housed a community of around 100 people. The dwellings were constructed using sandstone blocks, wooden beams, and adobe mortar, materials that were readily available in the surrounding landscape. The placement of these structures within the alcoves provided natural insulation, protecting inhabitants from the extremes of heat and cold. Life in Mesa Verde was centered around agriculture, with maize, beans, and squash serving as staple crops. The residents practiced dry farming, relying on seasonal rains, and carefully constructed terraces to maximize arable land. Water conservation techniques, such as the use of check dams and reservoirs, ensured a reliable water supply. Hunting and gathering supplemented their diet, with game such as deer and rabbits providing additional protein. The agricultural practices of Mesa Verde's inhabitants reveal a deep understanding of their environment and a capacity to thrive in challenging conditions. The social organization of Mesa Verde's inhabitants was highly cooperative, with extended families or clans likely sharing responsibilities for farming, construction, and ceremonial activities. The kivas, sunken ceremonial spaces found in many cliff dwellings, played a central role in the spiritual and social life of the community. These spaces were used for rituals, storytelling, and communal decision-making, reinforcing the bonds that held the society together. The construction of these communal spaces highlights the importance of shared identity and cultural cohesion in the face of external pressures. The abandonment of Mesa Verde around 1300 CE remains a subject of scholarly debate. Environmental factors, including a series of severe droughts, likely played a significant role. These droughts would have strained agricultural production, leading to food shortages and increased competition for resources. Social and political factors, such as internal conflicts or pressures from external groups, may have also contributed to the decision to leave. The migration of Mesa Verde's inhabitants to other regions, such as the Rio Grande Valley, reflects their resilience and ability to adapt to changing circumstances. Archaeological evidence suggests that many of these migrants maintained their cultural traditions, blending them with those of neighboring communities. The legacy of Mesa Verde endures in the cultural practices and traditions of modern Pueblo peoples. The architectural and agricultural innovations developed by its inhabitants continue to inspire, while the cliff dwellings themselves stand as a testament to the ingenuity and perseverance of the ancestral puebloans. These structures, nestled within the rugged cliffs, serve as a powerful reminder of the connection between human societies and the environments they inhabit. The arrival of Spanish colonizers in the 16th century brought profound changes to the lives of the Pueblo people. The Spanish sought to impose their religion, governance, and economic systems on the indigenous populations, disrupting long-established cultural tradition. The forced conversion to Christianity, the introduction of encomienda labor systems, and the spread of European diseases created significant hardships for the Pueblo community. Yet, the Puebloans demonstrated remarkable resilience, culminating in one of the most significant indigenous uprisings in North American history, the Pueblo Revolt of 1680. Led by Pope, a religious leader from the Oinge Pueblo, the revolt was a coordinated effort by various Pueblo communities to expel the Spanish from their territories. Pope's leadership united these diverse groups, despite their linguistic and cultural differences, in a common cause. The rebellion was both a response to the immediate oppression of Spanish rule and an assertion of the Pueblo people's right to self-determination. The revolt required extensive planning, including secret communication between villages and the use of knotted cords to signal the date of the uprising. The revolt began on August 10, 1680, and quickly spread across the region. Over 400 Spanish settlers and missionaries were killed, and the survivors fled to El Paso. The Puebloans dismantled Catholic churches, destroyed religious icons, and restored their traditional practices. For over a decade, the region was free from Spanish control, marking a rare and significant victory for indigenous peoples against European colonization. This period of independence allowed the Pueblo communities to reaffirm their cultural identity and recover from years of oppression. When the Spanish returned in 1692, under Governor Diego de Vargas. They adopted a more conciliatory approach. The re-establishment of Spanish rule was marked by negotiations and compromises, allowing the Puebloans to retain certain cultural practices. This period of adaptation highlights the Pueblo people's ability to navigate the complexities of colonial rule while preserving their identity. The negotiated terms often included the right to practice certain traditional ceremonies alongside Christianity, creating a unique syncretic culture that persists today. The Pueblo revolt remains a symbol of resistance and resilience. It is celebrated annually by many Pueblo communities, serving as a reminder of their ancestors' courage and determination. The revolt's legacy extends beyond the Southwest, offering inspiration to indigenous movements worldwide. The events of 1680 underscore the enduring strength of the Pueblo peoples and their commitment to safeguarding their culture and sovereignty. Today, the descendants of the Pueblo peoples continue to honor this legacy through ceremonies, storytelling, and community gatherings. The history of the Pueblo revolt is not just a tale of resistance, but also a testament to the adaptability of indigenous cultures in the face of adversity. This pivotal moment continues to inspire both scholars and native communities, reminding the world of the resilience inherent in preserving identity amidst external pressures. Following the tumultuous years of the Pueblo revolt and its aftermath, the Puebloan communities entered a period of adaptation and transformation. The Spanish colonizers, having faced the resilience of the indigenous population, returned with a more conciliatory approach. This marked a shift from outright subjugation to a more nuanced relationship, characterized by negotiations and compromises. The Pueblo peoples navigated this new reality by blending their traditions with elements of Spanish culture, creating a unique syncretic identity that persists to this day. One of the most significant aspects of this cultural blending was the integration of Catholic practices with traditional Puebloan spirituality. The Spanish missionaries, while insistent on conversion, often encountered resistance or reinterpretation of Christian symbols and rituals. Puebloan communities adopted elements of Catholicism into their own ceremonial practices, reimagining saints as ancestral spirits or linking Christian holidays to traditional festivals. This allowed them to maintain a sense of continuity with their heritage while adapting to the pressures of colonial rule. Agricultural practices also reflected this syncretism. The introduction of European crops such as wheat and barley complemented traditional staples like maize, beans, and squash. Livestock, including sheep and cattle, became integrated into Puebloan economies, transforming diets and farming techniques. The adoption of new tools and methods from the Spanish further enhanced agricultural productivity, enabling communities to sustain themselves more effectively. Economic exchanges between the Puebloans and Spanish settlers grew during this period. The encomienda system, though exploitative, facilitated interactions that introduced new goods and technologies to Puebloan societies. In return, the Spanish relied on the knowledge and labor of the indigenous population to sustain their settlement. Trade networks expanded, linking Pueblo communities with Spanish outposts and beyond. These exchanges fostered a degree of mutual dependency, albeit within an unequal power dynamic. Art and craftsmanship flourished in this era, with Puebloan artisans incorporating Spanish influences into their work. Pottery, textiles, and jewelry showcased intricate designs that blended traditional motifs with new materials and techniques. Religious art, such as painted retablos and carved santos, emerged as a prominent expression of this cultural synthesis. These creations not only served as objects of devotion, but also as symbols of resilience and adaptation. Despite these adaptations, the Pueblo peoples faced ongoing challenges. Land dispossession, forced labor, and cultural suppression persisted, reminding them of the precariousness of their autonomy. Nevertheless, their ability to adapt and incorporate new elements into their traditions ensured the survival of their cultural identity. The post-revolt period stands as a testament to their resilience and ingenuity, illustrating how indigenous communities navigated the complexities of colonialism while preserving their heritage. The 20th century marked a period of revitalization and advocacy for Puebloan communities. After centuries of colonial rule and marginalization, Pueblo peoples began to assert their rights and reclaim their cultural heritage. This era saw significant legal, cultural, and social advancements, reflecting a renewed commitment to preserving their identity and autonomy. One of the pivotal moments in this renaissance was the establishment of federal policies recognizing the sovereignty of Native American tribes. The Indian Reorganization Act of 1934 aimed to reverse some of the damage caused by previous assimilation policies, allowing tribes to govern themselves and manage their lands. For the Pueblo peoples, this legislation provided a framework for self-determination, enabling them to preserve their traditions and advocate for their interests. Education played a crucial role in this research. Pueblo communities established schools that emphasized bilingual education, teaching both English and native languages. These institutions sought to instill pride in Puebloan heritage while equipping younger generations with the tools to navigate the broader world. Cultural programs, including the documentation of oral histories and the revival of traditional arts, ensured that ancestral knowledge was passed down to future generations. Economic initiatives further empowered Pueblo communities. Many tribes leveraged their natural resources and cultural heritage to create sustainable livelihoods. Tourism emerged as a significant industry, with visitors drawn to Puebloan sites such as Mesa Verde, Taos Pueblo, and Chaco Canyon. Craft industries, including pottery, weaving, and jewelry making, flourished, providing both income and a platform to showcase Puebloan artistry. The establishment of tribally owned businesses and partnerships with non-native entities enhanced economic independence. The cultural renaissance was also reflected in the arts and media. Puebloan artists, writers, and performers gained recognition for their contributions to Native American and broader American culture. Figures such as Maria Martinez, a renowned potter from San Ildefonso Pueblo, brought traditional Puebloan art to global audiences, while writers like Leslie Marmon Silko explored themes of identity, history, and resilience in their works. These cultural ambassadors played a vital role in raising awareness and fostering appreciation for Puebloan heritage. Legal battles over land and water rights highlighted the ongoing struggle for justice. Pueblo communities fought to reclaim ancestral lands and secure access to vital resources. Landmark cases, such as the Taos Pueblo's successful campaign to regain control of Blue Lake in 1970, underscored the importance of persistence and solidarity in achieving these goals. These victories not only restored physical spaces, but also reaffirmed the spiritual connection between the Pueblo peoples and their environment. The Puebloan Renaissance of the 20th century represents a powerful chapter in their history, marked by resilience, innovation, and pride. Through education, economic development, cultural expression, and legal advocacy, Pueblo communities have reclaimed their narrative and strengthened their place in the modern world. Their achievements serve as an inspiration to indigenous peoples worldwide, demonstrating the enduring strength of cultural identity in the face of adversity. In the 21st century, Pueblo communities continue to navigate the complexities of preserving their heritage while engaging with the modern world. This balance requires addressing both internal and external challenges, from cultural preservation to environmental sustainability and political representation. Cultural preservation remains a central focus for Pueblo people. Efforts to document and revitalize native languages have gained momentum, with community-driven programs teaching younger generations the linguistic traditions of their ancestors. Ceremonial practices and festivals, such as the feast day dances, play a crucial role in maintaining spiritual and communal bonds. These events not only affirm cultural identity, but also provide opportunities for intergenerational knowledge transfer. Economic development has evolved to include diverse industries, blending traditional crafts with contemporary enterprises. Tribally owned businesses, such as casinos, hotels, and renewable energy projects, contribute to economic self-sufficiency. These ventures fund essential services, including healthcare, education, and infrastructure development, improving the quality of life within Pueblo community. At the same time, they raise questions about the impact of modernization on cultural integrity and environmental stewardship. Environmental sustainability is a pressing concern for Pueblo peoples, given their deep connection to the land and its resources. Climate change, water scarcity, and land degradation pose significant threats to traditional ways of life. Pueblo communities are actively engaged in conservation efforts, implementing practices that align with their cultural values. These include water management projects, habitat restoration, and advocacy for policies that protect sacred sites and natural resources. Political representation has become increasingly important in advancing Puebloan interests. Leaders from Pueblo communities have taken prominent roles in local, state, and national governance, advocating for policies that address indigenous issues. The appointment of Deb Haaland, a member of Laguna Pueblo, as the first Native American Secretary of the Interior, marks a historic milestone in this journey. Her leadership highlights the growing influence of Pueblo voices in shaping policies that affect their lands and futures. Despite these advancements, challenges persist. Issues such as poverty, healthcare disparities, and systemic inequality continue to affect many Pueblo communities. Access to education and employment opportunities remains uneven, particularly in remote areas. Efforts to address these issues require collaboration between tribal governments, non-profit organizations, and broader societal institutions. The story of contemporary Pueblo life is one of resilience and adaptation. By embracing their heritage while innovating for the future, Pueblo communities exemplify the power of cultural continuity. Their experiences offer valuable lessons in sustainability, community building, and the importance of honoring one's roots in a rapidly changing world. As they navigate the complexities of the modern era, the Pueblo peoples remain a testament to the enduring strength of identity and tradition. The Pueblo peoples have maintained a profound and enduring connection to the natural world, one that defines their cultural identity and informs their way of life. This relationship is more than utilitarian. It is deeply spiritual, rooted in an understanding that the land, water, plants, and animals are interconnected and essential to the balance of life. Over thousands of years, the Pueblo communities have developed sophisticated ecological knowledge, manifesting in sustainable practices that remain relevant even in today's global environmental challenges. Historically, the arid Southwest demanded innovative water management techniques for survival. The Puebloans engineered irrigation canals, reservoirs, and check dams to capture and conserve water in a region where rainfall was scarce and erratic. These systems not only sustained agriculture but also strengthened community ties, as their maintenance required collective labor and cooperation. The intricate networks of water channels reveal an advanced understanding of hydrology and environmental stewardship. Agriculture among the Pueblo peoples was a harmonious balance of tradition and ingenuity. The cultivation of the three sisters, maize, beans, and squash, is a classic example of companion planting that reflects an intimate knowledge of soil health and plant interactions. The maize provided a natural trellis for the climbing beans, which in turn enriched the soil with nitrogen, while the squash spread across the ground, shading the soil and retaining moisture. This system ensured both productivity and sustainability, minimizing environmental impact while maximizing yield. Sacred sites and landscapes hold immense spiritual significance for the Puebloans. These places are considered living entities, imbued with spiritual energy and tied to their cosmology and origin story. For example, the sipapu, often represented as a small hole in ceremonial kivas, symbolizes the point of emergence from the underworld in Pueblo creation myths. Sacred mountains, rivers, and canyons are not just physical locations, but integral parts of their cultural identity, serving as venues for rituals, storytelling, and the transmission of ancestral wisdom. In the modern era, Pueblo communities have become leaders in environmental advocacy, using traditional ecological knowledge to address contemporary issues such as climate change and habitat degradation. Renewable energy projects, like solar farms, have been adopted by several Pueblo nations as a way to reduce dependence on fossil fuels while honoring their commitment to sustainability. Conservation initiatives, including wildlife habitat restoration and reforestation, are guided by cultural values that prioritize harmony with nature. However, this connection to the land faces significant threats. Urban expansion, mining, and resource extraction disrupt sacred sites and fragile ecosystems. Climate change exacerbates water scarcity, threatens traditional agricultural practices, and increases the frequency of extreme weather events. Pueblo communities are actively engaged in legal and political efforts to protect their lands, collaborating with environmental organizations and government agencies to advocate for policy changes. The puebloans' enduring relationship with the environment is a testament to their resilience and wisdom. By integrating ancient practices with modern solutions, they offer a powerful model for sustainable living that resonates far beyond their community. Their environmental stewardship is not only a means of survival, but also a profound expression of their cultural philosophy, one that emphasizes balance, respect, and interdependence. As Pueblo communities enter the 21st century, they face the dual challenges of modernization and cultural preservation. The pressures of globalization, technological advancements, and economic integration bring both opportunities and risks to their traditional ways of life. Navigating these complexities requires a delicate balance between embracing change and safeguarding their cultural identity. One of the most pressing challenges is the preservation of language. Puebloan languages, many of which are endangered, are key to understanding their history, cosmology, and worldview. Each language carries unique knowledge and cultural nuances that are difficult to convey through translation. In response, Pueblo communities have launched revitalization programs that include bilingual education in schools, language immersion camps, and the creation of digital archives. These efforts are critical for passing linguistic traditions to younger generations, ensuring that their voices remain vibrant and relevant. Technology presents another double-edged sword. While it offers tools for education, communication, and cultural preservation, it can also disrupt traditional practices and lifestyle. Social media, for instance, has enabled Pueblo artists and leaders to reach broader audiences, but it also risks commodifying cultural elements or exposing sacred traditions to misinterpretation. Pueblo leaders emphasize the importance of using technology thoughtfully, ensuring it aligns with their values and serves their community's long-term interests. Economic development is a crucial area where modernization intersects with cultural resilience. Tribally owned enterprises, such as casinos, hotels, and renewable energy projects, provide essential revenue for healthcare, education, and infrastructure. However, these ventures can also raise ethical questions about environmental impact and cultural commodification. Striking a balance between economic growth and the preservation of natural and cultural resources remains a priority for Pueblo leadership. Education plays a pivotal role in equipping Pueblo youth to navigate a rapidly changing world while remaining rooted in their heritage. Community-driven curricula integrate traditional knowledge with standard academic subjects, fostering a sense of pride and identity among students. Partnerships with universities and research institutions have also facilitated the documentation and study of Pueblo history, ensuring that their narratives are represented in scholarly discourse. Despite these advancements, systemic inequalities continue to pose challenges. Many Pueblo communities struggle with limited access to quality health care, affordable housing, and reliable infrastructure. These disparities, compounded by historical injustices, highlight the need for sustained advocacy and investment in tribal resources. Collaborative efforts between tribal governments, nonprofits, and federal agencies are essential to address these issues and create pathways for equitable development. The resilience of the Pueblo peoples is evident in their ability to adapt to modern challenges while remaining true to their core values. By embracing change on their own terms, they continue to build a future that honors their past. Their journey offers valuable insights into the importance of cultural preservation and the power of community in overcoming adversity. The heritage of the Pueblo peoples extends far beyond their communities, offering lessons and inspiration to a global audience. Their history, cultural innovations, and enduring resilience provide a blueprint for navigating the complexities of human existence in harmony with the natural world. One of the most profound contributions of the Pueblo peoples is their approach to governance and community. Their systems of decision-making, rooted in consensus and collective responsibility, emphasize cooperation and mutual respect. These principles have relevance far beyond their immediate context, offering models for addressing global challenges such as climate change, social inequality, and conflict resolution. The Puebloans' emphasis on inclusivity and balance in decision-making serves as a reminder of the importance of prioritizing the collective good. Architectural and agricultural innovations developed by the Puebloans continue to inspire sustainable practices worldwide. The passive solar design of their dwellings, for instance, reflects an intuitive understanding of energy efficiency. Similarly, their agricultural methods, including dry farming and crop rotation, demonstrate strategies for maximizing productivity in challenging environments. These approaches align with contemporary efforts to address food security and environmental sustainability. The spiritual and cultural traditions of the Pueblo peoples offer profound insights into the human connection to nature. Their cosmology, which views humans as part of an interconnected web of life, resonates with modern ecological philosophy. Rituals and ceremonies celebrating seasonal cycles and natural elements highlight the importance of living in harmony with the environment. These traditions provide a counterpoint to industrialized society's exploitative attitudes toward nature, encouraging a more holistic and respectful approach. The global significance of Pueblo heritage is also reflected in the arts and humanity. Pueblo artists, writers, and performers have made significant contributions to Native American and global culture, challenging stereotypes and enriching the broader cultural landscape. Their works, whether in pottery, literature, or performance, celebrate resilience and creativity, while addressing contemporary issues such as identity, social justice, and environmental stewardship. Education and advocacy efforts have further amplified the global impact of Pueblo heritage. By sharing their stories, Pueblo leaders and educators have fostered cross-cultural understanding and inspired movements for indigenous rights worldwide. The recognition of Pueblo heritage as a vital part of human history underscores the importance of preserving diverse cultural narratives. The Pueblo people's journey is a testament to the enduring power of identity and tradition. Their resilience in the face of historical challenges offers valuable lessons for addressing the complexities of the modern world. As stewards of a rich cultural legacy, the Pueblo peoples continue to inspire efforts to build a more equitable, sustainable, and inclusive future for all.